Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my first attempt at editing. After 5 weeks of self-quarantine, not leaving the camper for any reason other than to go grocery shopping, Margie and I decided that it is time that we do a little road trips and see what we can see. This is our third car tour. They are at Fort Bayard, a National Historic Landmark in Santa Clara, New Mexico. When Congress established the U.S. Colored Infantry in 1866, Fort Bayard was established by Company B from the 25th U.S. Colored Infantry. Shortly after the establishment of the fort, they were joined by troops from the 9th Cavalry Regiment, and later were given the nickname of Buffalo Soldiers. They were tasked with suppressing the Indians and bringing order to the region. These are some of the old buildings on the fort. Some of the noted troops from Fort Bayard were Corporal Clinton Reeves. He earned a Medal of Honor during a battle with Apaches in 1877. He didn't actually get awarded the medal until 1879. Another interesting character was 24-year-old William Cathy. After 2 years of service, Cathy was discharged for disabilities in 1868, when it was discovered that Williams was a female, and females were not allowed in the military at the time. Cathy Williams was the only known female in the military in the 1800s. A Lieutenant John Pershing was also stationed at the fort at the time. Lieutenant Pershing later oversaw the installation of heliograph stations from Signal Park to Fort Station. By setting up these stations, it allowed the fort to be connected with a communication system that ran from Arizona all the way to Texas. After Geronimo was captured and the Indian Wars ended, the Army set up a research and treatment hospital, Fort Bayard, for tuberculosis. Here we're at the beginning of what is called Doctor's Row. These duplexes were two-family home units for set up for the doctors that were here. There's about 8 or 10 of them in this row. They're open normally they're open for visitation and for tours, but now with the virus going on, they're closed. But if you're interested in taking a tour in these buildings, go online to www.fortbayard.org. You can get some more information about tours. In 1900, the base was transferred to the Surgeon General's Department from the Department of the Army. You can see here that a lot of the buildings have been torn down. The hospital itself was torn down several years ago. There is some work being done. Some buildings are being built even now. I'm not sure what they're used for or what they're going to be used for. In 1922, the base was transferred again, this time from the Surgeon General's Department to the Veterans Administration. Also at the same time, even though someone had been interred in the cemetery when the base first opened in 1866, it was officially declared a national cemetery in 1922. Here we're getting a glimpse of the cemetery for the first time. I've read this plaque. It's got some information that's different than what I found online. There were a couple of pictures of a group of people walking away from the cemetery. They said it was in 1917, I believe, just after the end of World War I. And they gave a date for the beginning of the National Cemetery, which was different than the date that I found online. The base was partially reactivated during World War II, and there were German prisoners kept here at the base from 1943 through 1945. Ironically, their primary job here at the time was to take care of the cemetery and do the weeding and the grass work and stuff throughout the base. As you can see, there are a lot of headstones at this cemetery. In 2005, there were 3,732 people buried here. The base is currently administered by the New Mexico Department of Health, and they maintain a long-term care facility here. I hope you enjoyed my first attempt at editing a video. And if you are ever here in New Mexico, this fort is worth taking time to take a look at. Thank you again.